Hi, this is Trevor Mansell with Citrix Systems, and today we're going to be demoing a XenDesktop 5 disaster recovery scenario utilizing NetApp storage. So the one thing that we're going to do first is we're going to look at the environment that we're using for our test. And we've got two separate sites. They're going to be doing active-active disaster recovery. So site A is going to back up site B, and site B is going to back up site A. But we're going to have site A users on a normal basis. We're going to have site A users going to site A, and site B users going to site B. We're utilizing the NetScaler VPX for our inter-site availability, and then we're using the NetApp asynchronous SnapMirror for our storage replication. So here we see the replication. We've got an infrastructure volume and a user data volume at each site that's being backed up or replicated with asynchronous SnapMirror to the opposite site. In each site, we have a Xen server at each location that's hosting a PVS and a XenDesktop virtual machine that's separate on each site. They're both sharing a domain, an AD domain. And they also are hosting the NetScaler VPX appliance on each of those hosts. So looking at the NetScaler web console and the global server load balancing configuration, we've got two GSLB, we've got a local site and a remote site, and then we've got a V server for our XenDesktop web interface site, and then for our NetApp CIF shares. We're utilizing the desktop subdomain that's tied to that GSLB V server for the web interface, and we're using the least connection load balancing method for the web interface V server. So let's go ahead and log into our environment. So here we're using the GSLB that's tied to the desktop.corp domain. It provided us an available site. We logged in with our user one, which is a site A account, and that's tied using site roaming. That will tie us to our home site, which is site A. And so we should be logging into our site A virtual desktop, which if we look over here, we have user one logged into a site A virtual desktop. We've got our home directory, our Z drive that's on the NetApp CIF share. And that is actually directing us to the share that is on site A. So using that home share, we've loaded our profile and our user data from that share. So let's go ahead and log off and simulate a site failure. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and power down all the virtual desktops on site A. So as you see here, they're all powered off. So we're simulating a full site failure. And so the first thing that we've got to do is we've got to go ahead and, since we're replicating our user data volumes to each site, we're going to log into our available NetApp, and we're going to go ahead and make the user data volume for site A available and writable for those site A users. And to do that, we're going to go ahead and quiesce the user data volume, and then we're going to go ahead and break that SnapMirror. So what that will do is it'll make it writable, and it's going to be, and we're going to make that volume location primary. So looking at the NetScaler web interface, we'll just look over here and see that it is monitoring those sites and those services, and they're in a down state for site A, both user data CIF share and our web interface and XenDesktop. So let's go ahead and logging in as user one, which is our site A user. Since site A is down, we're going to be enumerated with a desktop on site B. And the important thing to see here once we're logged in is that we are logged on to our site B with user one account, but we're able to load our profile, which is on our home share, and have access to our current user data, which is on our Z drive. So we'll look at that real quick. We've got where we have access to our Z drive, and if we didn't break the volume, we could still access it in a read-only state, but our profile wouldn't load. So that would be very noticeable when a user would log in. So it's critical that we break that volume, so now they have full access to it. And in a failback, what we'll do is we'll sync their changes back to their primary location and then reestablish that SnapMirror.